Hey YouTube, so I figured I'd make this one real quick because I kind of talked about in the previous video already, and why not? So one of the things I really want to talk about was I mentioned in the last video about what I like and what I'm easy with in my life, like what aspect of my life I really can tap into and fix and go back into all the time, no problem, and what parts of my life where it feels like I'm always not doing great. And one of those things is the love life, the passionate side of things when it comes to relationships, communication, things of this nature. The first ever spell was actually a love spell to basically bring in a good person, a good guy into my life to open myself up to that. No serious relationships have happened for 5 years at this point, been a bit, and I didn't really know what was the best way to go about that. You know, you do the online dating, all this stuff, so I was like, well, maybe let's bring magic back into it. Let's attempt that. And amazingly enough, it did something. It removed every single guy. I've been seeing a few people casually, and it made even the guy was like, maybe we'll see. Like, he felt suddenly a huge bout of anxiety. He said he got a very odd feeling the day I had done the spell. He was like, yeah, no, I felt really anxious, and it was weird. And I was like, interesting. And soon after, I found out that almost every guy I've been attempting to see and attempting to do have just kind of disappeared. And it's something where I've always kind of struggled with, where everyone else has maybe been able to find relationships easy, even if they're not always the best relationships. Like, I have a really hard time even falling into them. And it's funny how, for me, finances, the passions, where everyone else is like, I don't know what I want to do with my career, I don't want to do it for my passion. Like, for me, it's such a intuitive thing. It is such an easy thing to tap into, to realize, okay, this is what I need to do to make part of my life happen. This is what I need to do to make this part of my career come into fruition. But when it comes to love, I'm not this way at all. I don't know what it is that I've probably had a single serious relationship in my entire life, and I've dated casually all throughout that, besides that relationship, but I haven't ever been able to find a person who I connect with on a deep basis. I don't understand how to operate necessarily in a relationship. I have been single and, you know, very independent and in that way for so long. I don't know how to necessarily naturally evolve into that type of relationship, and I've also never really had the chance. And I had to wonder a little bit, well, the common factor is me, so what is it with me? You know, I think it can be somewhat negative to always focus on the, well, what's wrong with me type of deal when it comes, especially when it comes to relationships. That's not necessarily something you want to do. But for me, that was something where I'm like, you know what, no, there might be something here that I need to reevaluate, in a sense, and look into and go, okay, so what is it with the love life? What is it with this aspect of life where it really just seems where I'm at just this dry ditch all the time? Like, what is it? And one thing I really do notice, because I do believe that whatever energy you put out into the earth is going to kind of come back to you, and specifically the habitual ones. Like a random thought, not so much one instance of, oh yeah, I'm going to be this way now, and then you never back that up. That never happens. But if you have a consistent thing always popping in, then that has something to do with it. That's always going to be something that you need to kind of focus on and relook at, because it's a habit, it's a consistent energy the universe is taking in, so it's going to feed it back to you. It's going to be like, okay, this is what you want, cool. And that consistently I've always kind of looked at is the idea that, one, relationships are hard, that it is hard to find this person, that it's hard to kind of feel out how people are, it is hard to meet people, it is that the entire dating idea is awkward and weird, and it's like, that is always how it's been for me before. My previous experience has always been this type of not quite there, not quite right, not quite, like, it's always just so awkward. The dating, the meeting, all of that, it's odd and clumsy, and I can't quite stand it. And everyone around me also, like, all their advice are like, I don't know how anyone does it these days, and it's always people who are already in a relationship. You know, it always seems like ingenuine advice. And also this idea of when you're putting a pause on things, because I have felt a lot of my life in the past year for everything, and then even longer for love life standards, because there is this weird idea, belief that I hold, that I don't want to find the person or allow for some uncertainty in that matter. Like, until I find a place that I want to settle into, I don't want to meet anybody, because I believe that they will also be in that place. Like, they'll be like, no, I want to be here, and if I find someone in another place, then they'll want to settle here. And that's very much not the case, because I'm not the only person that wants to move around and experience different parts of the country and explore a different city and really try it out and see if that's a thing I want to do. Like, I'm not the only person that does that. So that's an odd belief to hold, but it's a difficult belief to break, that you have to kind of have all your ducks in a row type of deal. Like, all the ducks need to be there, all set up, like all these parts of life need to be cemented and good to go, and then you can meet the person. Like, that's not the case. A lot of people meet the love of their lives, or a partner, or just even a relationship that's going to change them significantly at the most random of times, even in the most inconvenient of times. And it's okay if life becomes a little more inconvenient, a little more crazy for that. Like, that's okay if it gets unsettled in that way. That is kind of where I'm at. I don't know, I might have to reevaluate some things. What is a belief that you guys hold that you're just like, God, it gets so much in the way. You don't know why you hold it, and you know it would be better if you would just really evaluate it and look at it and kind of fold it apart, but is the belief of ducks in the row and the belief that love is hard to find, and like these beliefs that I hold specifically when it comes to relationships are definitely things that they're difficult to unwrap. They're difficult to kind of break into, to really dig into. And I definitely think that could be something that's holding me back in that form. It could be something that I'm holding, that the universe is going, well, you've told me this. This is how I approach the world. This is how I'm approaching people. So how can I expect for the person I need to be with to fall into my life if it's not there? But I definitely am also thinking of the idea that the universe kind of removed a bunch of men out of my life. And that's for a reason. I always feel like when things are definitely falling apart, when things are kind of escaping in mass from your life, when things are just like vacate, is because something is trying to come in. Something is trying to make its way, and it needs room. It needs room to come in and to grow and to do these things. So hopefully that will breed some sort of fruit in my life and become something that I really want to explore and see. Anyway, I make new videos every Wednesday and Friday. Keep your comments down below if you guys have any things, any pieces of advice, any of that matter. Maybe there are specific love spells or certain things magically y'all have done that you found that was fruitful or helpful, especially self-explorative things. That's one belief that I don't really feel like breaking. I definitely want to meet a partner who is interested in self-improvement and interested in improving the self and working on the self and pushing forward, and that will help to open better and bigger doors in life in general. Self-improvement wise, you kind of had to do to really help and find love or work in relationships. What are the things that you guys have done that have helped? Magical side or not, either or. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.